All right, so here we are in 212 South Merrimack in the pump room. We filled out our sheets. We're gonna identify the different parts of the fire suppression system in this room. So this is just kind of nothing formal about this. So there's a fire pump controller right here. This turns the fire pump on and off. It's okay. One thing Mercurial wanted me to point out, we'll cover in this class, is this is how you'd operate the fire pump. You know, you can start it manually and stop it, and then you can shut the power down to it. However, I believe it's safe to shut the power down here, but in some of the older buildings, they have an electrical shutoff hooked to this that is dangerous to shut down. So mostly they've gotten away from that type of design, I believe, but if you need to shut it down, you could shut it down here, just using stop or shut the power off here. So if it's not directly on this, I wouldn't shut down any electrical switches. Oh, jockey pump. There's a jockey pump controller over here. You know, follow the lines. You can follow your.
It's right here.
Find your jockey pump over there. There's over there. Right now it's sitting at 260, and no markings on here. Usually it's listed. All right, so it's listed right on here, digital display. So at 240, the jockey pump will come on, and it will shut off at 255. So, although currently it says it's at 257. So if it drops, you know, drops below that, drops going up to 240, it'll kick on, and then, yeah. And then your fire pump will kick on just right below that. So it should be. Sometimes you gotta look around, though, you can see that type of stuff, but this is a different fire pump. But you know, also in the code, I didn't get into it, but most modern high-rises have a water tank, on-source water tank that should be able to support fire suppression for an extended amount of time. That I do not know, but minimum of 60 minutes. But you know, so that tank is located underneath the ramp on the east side of this building, and this fire pump's a little different because it's a vertical fire pump rather than the centrifugal ones we've looked at. So it's kind of standard look for the check valve here. Your check valve. This is labeled test header. So, all right, this control valve is chained, and it's labeled test header, and it's closed. This should be monitored. So for the code, it says, yeah, it's wired up here. Wired up there, but it should be in the monitored closed position, but this one's closed. You have to go out to your test header that's right out there. But actually, I think it's monitored. Here's your electrical coming in here. Feed back over here. Yeah. This is a test. Yeah, this is the test header, and it is, you know, it's locked. Should be monitored closed. You know what it says, but there's a lot of check valves in the system, so kind of follow those that have arrows on them. Your quad up there, see it's blue, and it looks kind of weird. That's another backflow preventer, I believe. So they can be kind of confusing. Sometimes they'll have bypasses built in. That was on your diagram where there's the fire pump, but there's a way around it.
And this building has 2 hookups.
Yeah.
Alley and then one on, or is it, it's on the other side by the ramp, isn't it?
Yeah, by the ramp on the northeast side. This building does have 2 FDCs and so, water tanks underneath that ramp right there. Oh, right?
It is, and the way that they access that tank to do their inspection, testing, and maintenance is probably under that lid right there.
Yeah. And some, that one has a test header. In some modern buildings, they will just test the capacity of the pump through another pipe that goes into their water tank. So they actually don't have test headers. You'll just see it's a test header, they'll have gauges and flow meter up there, which they just turn it open and look and record it and shut it. So no water spills out outside or anything like that. Yeah, here's a bypass right here with a backflow preventer. And then some risers over here. So turn this camera over here. So you just turn it. Thanks. So there's your wet riser. The butterfly valve is open. It's monitored with a saddle valve in here, so it's just a hole inside. And once there's pressure surges up and down, so it may move. But once it stays activated for a certain amount of time, depending on the building, it'll activate and trigger the alarm. So if you came in here, and the pump's running and there's a fire, you could note the pressure here on the riser and also at the fire pump when it's running and see what that is, what that's reading. And then here's the dry valve. So you're working your way up. There's a control valve for this. This says water, and this one says air. This one's sitting at 160, and this one is sitting at 40. So remember, it takes less air to hold back the water because it's acting on a smaller surface area, and so it uses less air to hold back the water. If these are equal, they're probably bouncing around a little bit, and if they're, you get a trip alarm for a dry system, you come in and they're the same, then it's tripped, and then they'll have to come out and reset it. So once that happens, they'll shut this off, and then they have drains. They can drain this system, this riser, and open this up and reset the clapper valve in there and pressurize it. So, there. This too, same thing. If they need to drain this whole riser, it's a larger test drain here. You just move that to test after you close this up. And then, yeah, those numbers are on here for, the last one was March 10th when they, checked out the jockey pump and made sure that's working properly and that the fire pump will kick on. And how they do that is over here. Oh, sorry. So yeah, they'll just expel some, pressure from the system over here, I believe, and let it fall. Make sure the fire pump kicks on. This is a pretty clean one. There's still a lot of valves in here. It can be kind of overwhelming, confusing, but take a look around. Be familiar with identifying things and asking questions if you need. So it's like this bypass all closed. Yeah.
Does this system treat the commercial occupancy as well as the residential occupancy in this building itself?
Yeah. And I think that Peel has some special hood system over there. If I recall.
They have a wood burning oven which requires different things than a regular hood system.
Big things we saw, key things in and the layout that we already identified was the FDC. That check valve is close to the FDC. That's the only valve between, you know, the charged water supply and the FDC. There can be no other valves. So sometimes that could be in here, or, you know, or closer to the FDC where it was at. And then the test header out there. This is good that this is labeled control valve for the test header. Happens to be chained and it's closed. So, you know, we also have some other closed ones here. These bypasses right here are closed. But, you know, they just are redundancy so they can work on the system while keeping it in service. So you can see a lot of that be confusing, but being able to identify what things are, you can figure out if they're supposed to be open or closed. So this tells me that that's some type of drain there. All right, it's closed, and it's going down to the drain. So, and then those backflow preventers, there's quite a few of those, and they're commonly painted blue, or they say don't paint them at all. So.
Is there another riser over there? What is that? Coming down?
I don't know, there's a riser to residences.
Yeah, this is the riser for stairwell 2. There you go, stairwell 2. And it has.
None of the residences are sprinkler, or they are.
They're all.
They are sprinkler.
Yeah.
That's only by the either.
The sprinklers? We'd have to see where the sprinklers come in off which riser.
I mean, these only go to first floor and garage, and loading out.
So Tom,
Yeah.
is it the water is coming in to the cistern and then getting pumped out of the cistern into the system, is that correct?
I believe so, because,
Because there's only one outlet there.
right.
So your water's coming in from the cistern,
Yeah.
underground, through there,
That's right.
hits the system, charges that riser, for the bypass there, riser for the first floor here, it's marked, and then the loading dock, correct?
That's correct. This is a little bit different setup with the vertical one, I guess, that just pumps it up out of there where it needs to go, so.
That's in the new code because of earthquake stuff, correct?
Yes. Oh, another thing was, Cat and Ted point out, was a good thing is, if you go to your alarm panel and you get a, isolation valve 114 or 15 or whatever it is, these are just like our smoke detectors. We go look for the, faulty detector or the activated detector. That should be activated in this room as well. It should be red and let you know what you're looking for. So, in the newer high rises, pretty organized and labeled really well. So, it's another thing to look for.